right, so we're going to start the podcast. Thank you so much for joining, everybody. Let's get rolling.
All right.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the very first 2019 PTZOptics podcast.
Happy New Year.
Woohoo!
Welcome to the Post-Show Podcast with your hosts, Paul Richards, Tess Protesto, and Michael Luttermoser. Let's talk shop.
Here we go, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Yes, thank you guys. We're happy to be back with 2019 with us.
Spanking New Year 2019. We're not building a studio no more. We got one already built.
I wanted to talk about that. I'm just so happy. I remember this time last year, we were like moving into the new studio space. Now we're ready to rock 2019
right.
like it's nobody's business.
Yeah.
Crazy. We've had some great growth this past year. We were just talking about it on YouTube. We're setting our goals for next year, and maybe we'll touch a little bit on that in today's podcast.
Yeah, we should. Really quickly, so today's show was on our new pan-tilt zoom camera controller, which has Xbox camera control support. I said that kind of wrong. Xbox controller support, if you will.
Pretty cool.
That whole application was totally user-driven, meaning everyone in our Facebook user group just said, hey, put this feature in, put that feature in. It was a long process. I mean, I'm talking months long of back and forth with you guys on Facebook user group mainly, just saying, here's a beta, try it. Here's another beta, try it. I mean, it was rough in the beginning. Do you remember?
Well, that's all like product development's rough in the beginning.
Yeah, it was rough.
Yeah, it's good. Gotta work out the kinks.
Now, there's still some issues with it, which is why we still say it's quote unquote in beta still.
Yeah.
But the Xbox app portion of it, the controller portion of it's great. Some of our viewers pulled our teeth a little bit and made us tell them all of the stuff that is coming soon. NDI support is next, right? So the new tech NDI coming in. And then after that, we're going to have USB support. So USB cameras plus USB controls. This camera right here it's a USB PTZOptics camera, is going to be able to be controlled over USB and show video over USB.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Fight crime over USB, feed the nation over USB.
Lots of exciting stuff happening.
So with all of that happening, you know, you guys tell us what you want to hear. We're here in the live chat room. We're also trying to create an incredible creative podcast today with the first show of 2019. So I kind of wanted to do a little rewind and just talk about, you know, what 2018 was for us, because it was nuts.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Tess showed me the, so basically, Tess, when did you start? 2016?
Yeah, well, technically it was like January 1st or something like that. It's January 2nd.
So we had
2017.
I like judge my life by like how many YouTube subscribers we have. Just kidding. But it's an interesting barometer anyway. And it was like 2016 we had 2,000. Test joins, we got up to 5,000. Is that what it was?
In the past,
in the first year?
Since you decided to grow your team with Michael and I, you've gotten 9,000
subscribers.
And now we're at 11,000. So
Now we're
you
at
had
11,000.
2,000. Now you had.
Yeah.
So it was clearly a smart move bringing on these two.
Mike, you got a little bit too much bass on your mic, apparently.
Oh.
I just think creating a team, obviously, is going to help you grow.
Yeah.
Thank you, whoever gave us that idea. Tycho. I took the bass off. It is probably too hot on him.
But I would love to see us get like 10,000 more subscribers.
That's the way it usually happens. You get something rolling. But so one of the main things that's happened, and so it's so funny because I think that a lot of the viewers, if you forget that like 2 years ago, it was me in front of a green screen, no help. Right?
I love those episodes.
Those episodes.
Still get the angry commenters to this day.
The angry commenters who are just like, why do you have the gall to even post this? Why haven't you deleted this? And there's like, everyone's all over the map with that. Like, should you delete it or should you just leave it?
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm like, just leave it, because like in 20 years from now, we'll be like, what? We were streaming in 720. Like, who does that? I don't know.
I think it's just great to show like growth.
You know, I get to
Yeah.
see like physical evidence of where you came, started from the bottom. Now you're here.
Well, there's
know.
been so many videos where the trolls have commented,
Yeah.
and I always like to respond back and sometimes be like, well, we have a new version of this. If you'd like to search this, you'll see a 2018
Yeah.
update.
Definitely less negative comments we've received this year.
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you want to grow and get those negative comments too, because
They help you.
Yeah.
The trolls.
They help you.
Yeah.
Like I remember in the
That means
beginning,
that people are paying attention.
in the beginning, I'd say the first, and by the way, I want to give a shout out to JJ Sasan, planning to get his first set of PTZOptics cameras
Woohoo,
for
good
his
for you.
church Sunday worship.
Oh, nice.
Send me an email, JJ, paul.richards@ptzoptics.com. I'll send you a free copy of my new book, Helping Your Church Live Stream. I'd love to give the free books to like the live viewers because I think you guys are the best. But that's, you know what? It was so funny in the first year of live streaming. Then the second year, especially the first year, it was like no one was even watching. I'm not going to lie. It was like I was basically doing it just to create content so that like it was easier to create the live content than doing a bunch of video production. But on year 2 and year 3, what happened is that a lot of, I'm going to call them critics, but they were constructive critics. Remember Mike Latta?
Yeah.
He doesn't watch our show anymore, I don't think. But like I think he actually watched the show to just give us like every tip in the book.
Yeah.
Like you need a hair light, you need more light, you need that. Like I mean, just everything.
It ended up being quite useful.
I mean,
Yeah.
we went through the ringer.
I mean, he wasn't mean about it. Some people
No.
just, if they say like, well, your shirt's ugly, that's not very helpful. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I wouldn't wear that shirt again on the show. You know what I mean?
And I remember in the beginning of the very first Stream Geeks show specifically, it was you and I were just like, look, let's make it easier and let's just have like a podcast style show where we just talk people through what we've learned over the past couple of years and not worry about the cameras so much. But still,
Kind of like right now.
kind of like right now. But now look at us. Now we actually have the headphones on, the sound effects, the lighting, the dedicated space to like Tim Vandenberg came on our show. And he was like, wow, guys. Because like he remembers. I would like in the very beginning when it was like I was streaming from my laptop using vMix.
You're
and
like, Tim, do you want to come on my
I'd
show? And he's
email
like,
him-
no.
he didn't want to. And I would literally email him. I'd be like, why is like my camera like layers like flickering? And he's like, do you even have a graphics card?
You're like, what is that?
Oh, it was funny.
Yeah.
Tycho Warner is a volunteer that ran a radio station which grew with live streaming performances of artists in the Celtic scene.
Ooh,
They're
very
now
cool.
called Celtic Cast, and he's the head of tech there, and I'm really interested in 1/2.
Really interested in.
1-2.
Do we not? Why don't we know what that means?
Maybe he's thinking maybe what he's talking about is like the second half. Like you put in 2.5 years of the tough work, like what we've talked about.
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's honestly it's been 5 years.
Yeah.
And I'm right on the same page with you. I forget his name. Tycho. I'm right on the same page with you, Tycho. Like I'm ready for the next 5 years. I'm ready for the second half, the downhill battle, right?
Right. It's supposed to be a
Where
little bit
it's like-
easier. Yeah.
Now we actually have a following and we have an email list and
A kick butt following. You guys rock.
yeah, and it's great and a team, and it is definitely comes down to the team. There's definitely comes down to a really good team that we have in place.
Tycho said there was a message limit. Okay, that makes sense.
Oh,
Why we couldn't see the finish.
I see. And then we actually have one more person joining our team. Melissa, her name is, and she is a trained audio technician. Because when it comes down to getting the lighting right, and getting the cameras light, and getting everything ready, it's like, all right, we got all that. Like that's actually really easy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, all right, now comes the critics who are constructive criticism saying a little bit too much bass on mic, a little bit, your EQ is a little flat on the lower spectrum. And, we're not there yet.
No.
We're not there yet.
No.
But this girl is actually trained in audio production, and her teacher, Dr. Barry Hill, I'm trying to get him in here for a session. But she literally she went to school for that.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I definitely need the help.
I mean, that's going to be the seat right here. Seat number 4 is going to be an audio, literally went to school for audio technician, and it's going to help a lot.
You guys are going to get to drill her.
Yeah, I want to see her like answer questions in the chat, and we'll be like, who's right? Who's
I don't know. Couple questions coming in from the chat or suggestions for things that they want to see in 2019, like 4K.
Yeah, I do think 2019 is the year of 4K. I'm really excited. Right now, we are all kind of in sprint mode toward NAB. Mm-hmm. So we're like, all right, get the flights.
Looking for suggestions for guests to have on the show.
Yes, guests for the show. Let's talk a little bit about our plan so far.
For 2019.
Without revealing any of the secret stuff.
Okay. PTZOptics has new products coming out.
Yes.
No, but I'm talking about like the show plan and stuff.
No, we definitely want to start things off in April with a bang with NAB. Yep. We want to get some new blood in here that keeps coming up. Some new guests, just, not just for NAB, but for the regular show as well.
Wow, Tycho's studying to be a light and sound studio technician at the Herman Brood Academy in Utrecht, Netherlands. Yeah, I mean, it's serious.
Sounds fantastic.
It's important to get involved and get trained. We're honestly, I think most of our viewers and like what we have gone through is the like, let's try to train ourselves, and then we have huge gaps. Mm-hmm. That's the problem with like the way we've done our work. It's like we're helping as people as to get. Like it could be something basic, like how to accept donations through Facebook. And that could be like so important for a church, but like not for, there's somebody getting married. You can see him walking. Aww. We our podcasting studio is right next to
the courthouse.
The courthouse. People are always getting married there. But there's huge gaps sometimes in our knowledge, even like, because I'm trying to teach you, yet I have gaps. And I'm trying to show Michael, and Michael has gaps. And then
we kind of have our very own approach to things where kind of the audience gets to learn with us. They always have.
Yeah.
It's always worked like that with us.
Yeah.
We're lucky in that way.
Mm-hmm.
I wish that each of us came from like a different discipline. Like, although Michael really came from the production side, the video production side. I came from, the interesting thing is that I actually came from the integration side, right?
Yeah.
And actually more from the sales side.
Sales, but business is kind of your forte.
So like I know from like a higher level perspective of like what the business organization wants in the end.
Mm-hmm.
They made me do, make cables and stuff. So I've done that. Mike Latta is a mind of info. Happy to share what he knows to help make a difference.
Where you at, Mike Latta? I'm going to email him.
Where is Mike Latta? We got to find him again.
We miss Mike Latta.
He came on our show one time.
Did he?
Yeah, the history
he did for
show.
the history of
and
live
he killed
streaming.
It.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Should we do another history of live streaming show in 2019?
Yeah, that would be fun.
Really, I think where we're at right now is sort of brainstorming 2019. So we can take a moment now to our podcast listeners and our live show viewers to ask what you would like to see for 2019, or what do you think is going to be up and coming this year that we can study with you.
And then, Tess, you brought the social media side of it. So, and that is something that you need someone young who has, you studied it as well. But, like you can't hire someone who's like 45 or I'm not 45, like 65 and be like, do you mind managing our Facebook? Like,
depends who they are.
It depends on who you are. But so you came in with the social media, and then now we're bringing on an audio engineer. So we are filling in the gaps with the team, which is great. And then we also have engineers on our team too that help train us. Hi Dan, hi PI Engineering. The other thing I wanted to mention is, so we have some pretty cool show ideas coming up soon. Two in particular. So on Monday, the Stream Geeks show, we're going to do a look back on 10 of our top shows.
Yeah, for Stream Geeks specific, because we moved into this new office here in Westchester as Stream Geeks. So we're Stream Geeks forward here. So we definitely wanted to take a look at what this past year has been like for us in our new office space.
Definitely.
Thank you, Daniel. He's enjoyed our videos from the start, and he's learned a lot about the streaming process. You hope to see many more grateful and useful shows in the year to come. We so appreciate that, Daniel.
Yeah, that's really nice. Thank you.
Yeah,
we're getting quite a few requests for guests, which is exactly what we're looking for.
Jake, not Jake Gosling. Is
Jake
it
Gosling, yep. And Alex Lindsay. Jake Gosling is the church.
I do want to have him. I'm not sure if he's going to be at NAB, but
very cool.
I want to have him on just as a guest. Yeah, we need to have him. Invite Alex Lindsay. Next Friday, we're going to have the Practical Pastor. We're going to talk about CCLI licensing for churches and Christian music. But the other 2 new shows that are coming out is one, we're going to do live streaming virtual reality.
Yes, that's something that we're gonna look into.
Yes,
a creative way of capturing that for a live audience. So looking forward to that. And if you have any, suggestions on ways we can amplify on that, let us know.
Yeah, I mean, basically for the live streaming of virtual reality, what I'm imagining is there's a computer that outputs the video to the headset, right? Mm-hmm. But it also probably splits off to a television, I think, as well. Mm-hmm. So that so basically the idea is, and they're not thinking about live streaming, they're just in room thinking here. There's an HDMI that goes to the headset. There's an HDMI that goes to a television. So the guy who's virtual reality can see what he's doing. And then his friends who are watching him can kind of see on the TV.
It's how he plays, yeah.
Now what we need is either a third HDMI output, or we can do an HDMI loop through, and we can loop an HDMI out and plug that into our computer with a Magewell HDMI capture card, the Pro version. With the loop out, and then plug it into our computer.
I feel like we could just...
I'm stuck in your legs.
Oh, sorry.
No worries.
I feel like we should be able to just have our camera feed going, and then just pull the HDMI feed from the television.
We could probably just pull right off the television. Loop out of the television feed, pull in the USB to our laptop. We might need a USB 3.0 extender, because I'm thinking the producer... Because technically, we want the cameras to be, at least the cameras should be kind of around the guy. Who knows? We'll put them wherever we need to do.
No, I think you're correct with having a extender, because we want to show like the person and kind of the TV, which is on the wall. Yeah. And then we want to have a big enough space where can show.
We're gonna go plan it all out next week, and so we're gonna do a virtual reality live stream, and that'll be fun. Larry would like to see another studio walkthrough in 2019, because we have made a lot of changes since I mean, the whole podcasting thing has just changed so much.
Yeah, that's true.
So we'll have to do another just studio walkthrough.
A product request from Kevin. Are there any plans to add optical image stabilization hardware to the PTZOptics camera?
That's a good question. I was at CES, and I was looking at some of the new image stabilization technologies. They're really made for like body cams and like really moving places. What I would like to see, and I haven't seen this yet, but better mounting hardware that has better stabilization options. Some of our people in the user group have purchased the wall mounts with and then fabricated their own stabilization mounts. People seem to love the wall mounts. I mean, it's actually our top selling product that we sell. So
made in America
here in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So if we could make them better or offer a more stabilized mount, I think that's what's probably going to happen, if I would ask. Now, tracking software for the cameras, Gene. So there is somebody out there called PTZfollow.me. Is that it?
Yeah, got me.
It's still a little buggy. I mean, I'll be completely honest. Like, I asked him about, I was like, you did this, bring you on the show, we'll talk about it. And he was like, I'm not ready for like the world to start criticizing this software, because it's just not there yet. It's really close. And he was very ambitious. He was like, I'm going to run this thing on a Raspberry Pi, and for $30 and a Raspberry Pi, you're going to make your PTZOptics camera follow whoever you want.
It's really cool.
And I think personally, just knowing what I know and seeing what I've seen in the tracking industry, you need a pretty powerful computer to do that. So I think if he boosted up the power of the computer and trimmed his code, he's really getting there. But it's like it's a side job. So yeah, tracking in the PTZOptics cameras is something that a lot of people want.
SteadyCam suggests that we mount our cameras higher because the mics are always in our face, which I know they are.
We could definitely mount the camera higher. That's a good idea. That would solve a lot of issues, wouldn't it? Just move it up a bunch.
Some requests for Paul Allen Clifford as a pro presenter YouTuber to have on the show. That's a great one.
Yes.
We haven't had a pro presenter.
We have to. We gotta get the pro presenter guys in here. We did Easy Worship already.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So Pro Presenter would be good.
We're not going to CES specifically.
No, we're not.
I believe our team though.
Somebody will be there, but we're
Patrick
not going
will be
to.
there, our international manager. Looking for ultra cheap way to multicam live stream high school productions and performances for our nonprofit.
Interesting. The Z cams are pretty affordable. The nice thing about them is they are PoE. So if you wanted to, you could get the Z cams, which start at 500, and a PoE switch, and you would be good to go. The thing about pan tilt zoom cameras that keep it affordable is the ability of one camera following the action.
Yeah.
Doing multiple scenes and things like that. So it makes it like if you got like one static camera like the Z cam with a super wide shot of the whole thing,
and
then the PTZ to just follow the action, you can cut back and forth. That would be like less than $2,000 for both. So VR, there's the new virtual reality show, and then there's an e-gaming place as well.
Yeah.
So e-gaming, virtual reality, and then one that I don't want to forget and I want to get it done is live streaming a board game.
Oh, yeah.
As crazy as it sounds, Dungeons and Dragons is having a big comeback.
They certainly are. I mean, it was a big deal at Twitch. When we talked to LiveView, apparently there was plenty of people streaming table games.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that. It's all about the conversation with those Dungeons and Dragons games.
The characters.
Yeah.
What is it? The Dungeon Master.
Yeah.
Especially people are really into it.
Yeah. Love it.
I'd rock that game.
You would?
Yeah. I get to like pretend I'm like the Elvish Queen.
Would you like to, are you sure you want to go down that path, or would you like to take the fork in the road?
The path shall not defeat me.
So that's our podcast. A lot of fun stuff. VR streaming, e-game streaming, board game streaming.
2019 is just...
We were really pumped.
Sorry.
I was going to say we're really pumped for NAB 2019 in Las Vegas.
Heck yeah.
We always have a great time, and we always get to just do like a lot of cool stuff.
There's always some mystery to, what's to come for us, because opportunities just always seem to rise up in ways that we never expected, and we always are getting new ideas of content to produce, and there's always new things coming out.
I asked you guys about what we were doing in NAB, but I don't think we actually explained it, like the whole plan for NAB.
We can talk about the new workflow there. So the
plan for NAB, and I'd love to get some advice on this, is to have basically like a producer desk area. So imagine at the back of our PTZOptics booth, it's a pretty big booth. We're going to have like a bar height table with the chairs where Tess and I will interview people. But on the production side of it, we'd like to have like, let's say, a new tech TriCaster, a Wirecast gear, a vMix system, and a live streaming system. And the producer gets to choose which system they'd like to use. Or, you know what? It could be a team of producers, which would be kind of fun. It's like a producer and or their team. So it's like, it'd be kind of cool, like teams, like team 1, team 2. And the team that uses the systems like together the best. So basically there's 4 days of streaming. Day 1, day 2, day 3 are like teams.
Okay.
And team producers, so that the teams get together, they produce the show. And then day 4, the audience votes on who they think did the best job.
So what do you guys think? What do you listeners or you viewers think about that idea? Having NAB attendees, with some sort of credentials to prove that they, know the equipment that they're talking about. Should we let them produce our show at NAB and kind of have a competition between what team or what production software or hardware worked out the best?
Yeah, and then we could have them come on, and good. David Peltz is sending me a new email about the Chroma disc. Thank you. Yes, I really want to talk about that.
Moving lights so I don't have as much reflection on my glasses.
Yep, we'll move the cameras up a little bit. I like the idea.
I can't. I just love my glasses.
And
that's it.
So thank you so much for listening, everybody on the podcast and everybody watching live. The judges shouldn't know who made the footage. Ooh.
Oh, that's a good one.
Ooh, which team is it?
Yeah, which team is it? Who's it gonna be?
So we'd have like a secret. The teams would be secret. We wouldn't show who's producing.
Well, I kind of wanted to have a camera on them though to show like what they're doing.
Team A, B, and C. Yeah, we'll see. We're still working out the details.
Yeah.
Survivor live stream producer team.
It would be nice to give them all like colored shirts.
Yeah.
You know, or something like. We got to get this together soon because we have to have.
I know
like,
it's a lot of work if we want to do this. This is
So let us know if you're going to be at NAB and if you're interested in participating. We know
JJ's saying it's a good idea. Pied Piper thinks it's a good idea. We're hoping that we get some good ideas because, if a lot of people want to do it, then we get a lot of entries, and then we got to put teams together. And like the teams have to determine, you know, like who's the best Wirecast person, who's the best at vMix, who's the best at live stream, who's the best at the TriCaster. Because like we got to work together. Minimum team size of 2. So if it's like Daft Punk, you know, like 2 guys rocking it, fine. Maximum team size of 6.
So we've got like Scott on the TriCaster. We got Ryan Brenneman using either Wirecast or vMix.
Yeah. Someone could be on a cell phone doing camera control. Someone could be on like an iPhone doing the NDI control app. I mean, we could have like a team of like the maximum team size is like unlimited.
Wow.
Tycho, we're live every Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we are live with Stream Geeks, our other channel, at 2 p.m. Eastern on Mondays.
Tony likes the idea too.
Yeah.
Cool. OBS challenge.
Yes.
That's a good one too.
OBS challenge.
OBS is gonna be on there too.
Are we really gonna trust people with our show at NAB?
We have to. That way it's not our fault.
I'll be on standby.
No, it's our fault for coming up with the idea if we get in trouble with the bosses.
No, we're not gonna get in trouble. And then
famous last words from Paul Richards.
All right. And like,
hold on.
We're not gonna get in trouble for this.
Now the last thing is we're also invited to go on the LiveView solo or LiveView show. And so throughout that hour-long broadcast, which is going to include 2 interviews, there's also going to be quick 5-minute breaks where someone, let's say Mike or Tess, is out on the field grabbing an interview from, let's say, the vMix booth.
It's like our own broadcast beat show.
Yeah.
Because that's what broadcast beat does. They go to the main stage and then into the crowd.
Yeah. So we're going to do that. And like, we're going to plan for each show, which is there's 4 days of shows. There will be an equal amount of like on-site interviews that are live that get pumped into the show.
Super cool.
Yeah.
So
Paul has a new book. So make sure you go look for Paul's new book on our website and on Amazon and give it a review.
Help your church's live stream. Help your church live stream.
Helping your church live stream.
And make sure you give us a like on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube.
Got to get that 20K by 2020.
If anyone's a dealer or a reseller, please reach out to us because we want to hear some thoughts from you for 2019.
All right. That's the show, folks. Thank you so much for listening and have a nice day.
Cheers.
Perfect time because my computer froze.
Smooth show, right?
Mm-hmm.
We got through the whole thing.
Especially for it being the first day back.
I know, like, what? Why didn't something go wrong?
I know. Normally.
Would have made me feel more at home.
Too funny.
All right, normalize, -1.
Let's see if this one's to work now.
Thank you, everybody. We got through it together.
What?